There are stories that challenge what we believe about the ancient world, stories that push against the limits of modern history, stories that should be impossible. This is one of them. In 2019, a young researcher named Ethan Parker vanished inside the Amazon rainforest. For 3 days, the world believed him dead. But when he resurfaced, he carried with him something far more disturbing than a survival story. He claimed to have encountered an ancient tribe, believed extinct for over 2,000 years. A tribe no one has seen, a tribe no one has documented, a tribe that, according to modern historians, should not exist. What happened during those 72 hours became known as the story no one believed. But here, on Mind of the Ancients, we explore the truths hidden between history and legend, and Ethan's experience may be the most extraordinary of them all. Ethan Parker wasn't an adventurer or celebrity survivalist. He was a 29-year-old ethnobotanist, a scientist who studies how ancient cultures use plants. His dream was simple: to uncover knowledge from indigenous groups before it disappeared forever. The Amazon was sacred territory for him, a living museum of ancient wisdom. Ethan had joined a small team mapping undocumented flora along a remote Amazon tributary. It was routine research, cataloging leaves, roots, and seeds, nothing more. But the Amazon is a place where routine does not exist. The river that day moved strangely, not faster, but heavier, as if something deep beneath its surface shifted. Ancient tribes often described the river as alive, and for the first time, Ethan felt like it was watching him. The boat hit a hidden tree trunk. The impact threw him into the water. As he plunged beneath the surface, the Amazon closed around him like a fist. He resurfaced alone, no boat, no team, no gear except the waterproof pouch tied to his chest. He had entered the world where ancient spirits rule, and where outsiders rarely return. By the first night, fear had already carved into Ethan's mind. The jungle was a constant roar, insects humming like machinery, unseen creatures breaking branches, distant echoes of something moving, something large. Ethan built a shelter with vines and broad leaves, but it felt like a coffin more than protection. The Amazon at night presses against the skin. The air is so heavy, every breath feels stolen. He tried to sleep, but the forest wouldn't let him. And then he heard it, a drum, not loud, not rhythmic, just a single beat, then another, then silence. A drum deep in the untouched Amazon is not a sound you ignore. Ethan's pulse quickened. If there were humans nearby, it meant hope or danger. Tribes in this region sometimes attacked outsiders on sight. He didn't move, he didn't breathe, he waited for the drums to return. But instead, the jungle answered with a sudden, chilling quiet, a silence so complete it felt deliberate. Ancient tribes say that when the jungle holds its breath, something old is walking through it. On the second morning, exhausted and hungry, Ethan began searching for food. His training helped him identify edible roots and leaves, but the Amazon tests even the best. Then he saw it, a carving on a fallen tree trunk, a spiral surrounded by 3 lines. The symbol was unmistakable to him. He had seen it in archaeological journals. It belonged to the Araucai, a pre-Amazonian civilization believed to have vanished around 200 AD. Scholars said the Araucai were myth. Ethan was staring at their symbol, freshly carved. This moment changed everything. No longer was he just lost. He was trespassing in the territory of a forgotten people. That afternoon, the sky cracked open. Rain hit the ground like stones. Ethan's shelter collapsed instantly, soaking him in cold mud and river runoff. He screamed into the storm, not from weakness, but from something deeper, the sense of being swallowed by a world older than humanity itself. As lightning lit the forest in violent flashes, he saw them, figures, silent, still, watching him through the curtains of rain. Their bodies were painted in charcoal patterns. Their eyes glowed with reflections of firelight. Even though no fire burned nearby, they vanished as quickly as they appeared. The storm passed, the jungle returned to its steady hum. But Ethan knew he was no longer alone. The Araucai, the tribe erased from history, had found him by dusk. Ethan collapsed from exhaustion, but when he opened his eyes again, he wasn't in the jungle. He was inside a structure, a hut woven from palm fibers, infused with scents of herbs he could not name. Around him stood members of the tribe. Their skin-painted symbols matched ancient carvings found in pre-Columbian ruins. Their necklaces held beads shaped like the same spirals Ethan saw carved into the tree. One elder stepped forward. His face was lined with years, or centuries, it seemed. His eyes held a calm that unnerved Ethan. Without speaking, the elder handed him a bowl of herbal liquid. Ethan hesitated, but his body was failing. He drank. Warmth spread through his limbs. Pain disappeared. His breathing eased. The Araucai knew plants in ways modern science could not imagine. Ethan realized he was witnessing knowledge passed through 2,000 years of unbroken lineage. Knowledge the world believed extinct. Over the next day, Ethan was allowed to observe, but not wander. The tribe moved gracefully, almost silently. Their rituals flowed like choreography passed down through generations. He watched hunters prepared darts with plant toxins unknown to science. He saw women weaving fabric patterns identical to those found in ancient burial sites. He saw the elder teaching children through symbols carved in clay, symbols Ethan recognized as proto-linguistic forms older than recorded Amazonian language. Every moment felt like touching a chapter of human history that had somehow survived the collapse of civilizations. The Araucai communicated with him using gestures at first, later with sparse, melodic words. Their language resonated with rhythms similar to reconstructed Proto-Tupi dialects. This was impossible. Yet it was happening. Late on the second night with the tribe, Ethan heard the drums again, but this time he understood. They were not warnings. They were invitations. The elder approached him and pressed a wooden talisman into his palm. The spiral symbol carved into it pulsed faintly in the firelight. The elder pointed to Ethan's chest, then his own heart. A gesture of connection, a symbol of acceptance, or a burden. Ethan wasn't sure, but he did know this. The Araucai held knowledge that could rewrite South American history, and he was one of the only outsiders to ever see it. On the third afternoon, a distant sound cut through the forest. A helicopter. Ethan's heart froze. Rescued. But for the tribe, the sound meant danger. They had spent centuries avoiding the outside world. Their very survival depended on secrecy. The elder looked at Ethan with understanding and sorrow. Ethan explained with gestures that he had to leave. The tribe gathered around him. The elder touched his forehead, then placed the talisman into his hand a second time, closing Ethan's fingers around it. A gift, a warning, a promise. He walked to the edge of the clearing and turned back one last time. The tribe was gone, vanished as if the forest had swallowed them. Moments later, the rescue team found him. Ethan returned to civilization carrying the talisman, memories, and knowledge that contradicted every academic belief about ancient Amazonian cultures. When he tried to share his findings, he was met with disbelief, academic dismissal, accusations of fabrication, claims his trauma had induced hallucinations. He presented detailed botanical note sketches of tribal of rituals matching ancient artifacts identical to pre-Columbian textiles. Still no one believed him, because admitting he was right would mean admitting the ancient world had survived untouched, and that history books were wrong. Years passed. Ethan kept the talisman close. He said that when rain fell at night, he could still hear the rhythm of the Araucai drums, not as a memory, but as a call. A reminder that ancient knowledge still lives in hidden corners of the earth. Knowledge that modern civilization is not ready to accept. Ethan didn't just survive the Amazon, he stepped into a world older than history itself. A world protected by time, secrecy, and nature's fiercest guardians. A world that may vanish forever, if revealed. That's why he chose silence, because some ancient truths are not meant for everyone. But here, on Mind of the Ancients, we honor them, we explore them, we keep them alive. And perhaps, one day, Ethan's story will no longer be the story no one believed, but the story that changed everything we know about the ancient world.